I'm 32, male, and up until a few months ago, I thought I had life figured out. I had a decent job in tech, a small but comfortable apartment, and most importantly, a fiancée I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with. Let's call her F. F and I had been together for 5 years, engaged for 1, and we're supposed to get married this fall. I say supposed to because the wedding isn't happening. Not for me, at least. The first crack in the facade appeared when I stumbled upon her second phone. It wasn't hidden, not exactly. It was sitting in her car's glove box. We had switched cars that day because mine was getting serviced and I needed to grab something from her glove compartment. That's when I saw it. At first, I thought it was an old phone. Then it buzzed. Curiosity got the better of me. I unlocked it using the same passcode as her primary phone. She wasn't exactly creative with passwords, and there was a completely separate life. The texts were the first clue. They were with someone I didn't recognize, a guy named M. Their conversations ranged from mundane to flirtatious to downright explicit. I scrolled further back, and that's when my stomach dropped. This wasn't new. These messages spanned months. Months where I thought we were planning our future together. But it wasn't just M. There were other messages, too. Conversations with friends about keeping things quiet, about her plan. She even mentioned me in some of them, describing me as too predictable to suspect anything. It was like reading a script for my own betrayal. I didn't confront her right away. I needed to understand the scope of what I was dealing with. Over the next few days, I dug deeper. I synced the phone to my laptop and found emails, dating app accounts, even a secret bank account she'd been funneling money into. She had a whole plan to move out and start a life with him, leaving me blindsided. When I finally confronted F, she didn't deny it. In fact, she almost seemed relieved. "I've been wanting to talk to you about this," she said, as if this was some minor inconvenience rather than a complete betrayal. I kept my voice calm. "So talk." She went on to explain how she'd outgrown our relationship, how she felt trapped and needed a way out. The kicker? She wasn't planning to tell me until she'd secured everything on her end. Her excuses were riddled with entitlement. She genuinely believed she was justified in using me as a placeholder while she figured out her next steps. "I didn't want to hurt you," she said, as though that erased the months of lies. I asked her to leave that night. She protested, of course, claiming she needed time to figure out where to go. I didn't budge. She had him, didn't she? She could go to him. F underestimated me. She thought I'd crumble, that I'd let her walk away unscathed. But if she was going to plan a life without me, I was going to make sure she lived it alone. First, I contacted a lawyer. I wasn't about to let her get away with using my resources to fund her betrayal. The wedding expenses, the shared accounts, I had receipts for everything. My lawyer advised me to freeze our joint accounts immediately and start documenting everything. So I did. Next, I reached out to M. I wasn't sure if he knew about me, but I figured he deserved to know who he was getting involved with. Turns out M wasn't just some guy. He was married. Married with kids. When I showed him the evidence, he was livid. We teamed up. M confronted F while I sat back and watched the fallout unfold. His wife kicked him out, filed for divorce, and went after him for everything. Meanwhile, F's circle of friends started to catch wind of what she'd done. Apparently, betraying your fiancé and wrecking a marriage isn't a good look. F tried to do damage control, but it was too late. Her carefully curated image of the perfect fiancé and friend unraveled faster than she could salvage it. Mutual friends started distancing themselves from her. Some outright cut ties. I didn't have to say much. Her actions spoke for themselves. But I wasn't done yet. The venue for our wedding? In my name. The deposits? Paid from our joint account. I contacted the vendors and explained the situation. Most were sympathetic and willing to refund or credit my payments. For the ones that weren't, I requested invoices detailing what had been paid and by whom. With those documents, I filed a small claims case to recover my half of the deposits that F had contributed using our shared funds. Then there was the apartment. It was mine, leased in my name before we met. She had no claim to it, but she tried to argue she needed time to find a place. I gave her 48 hours to pack her belongings and leave. When she refused, I had her formally served with an eviction notice. Legally, she didn't stand a chance. F didn't go quietly. She tried to paint me as the villain, telling anyone who would listen that I was controlling, emotionally distant, and unsupportive. She even hinted that I had driven her into M's arms. But I was prepared. I kept everything, the texts, emails, even screenshots of her conversations with her friends. When she started spreading lies, I shared the receipts with those who mattered. The truth shut her down quickly. Her most desperate move came when she tried to claim some of the joint purchases we'd made during our relationship. Furniture, electronics, even a few pieces of jewelry. She argued that they were hers because she had picked them out. I countered with bank statements proving I'd paid for the majority. When she persisted, I let her take a few items, but not before ensuring they were things I could easily replace or didn't care about. The real revenge came when I exposed her secret bank account. During one of our heated exchanges, she slipped up and admitted she had been using money from our joint account to build her personal savings. I filed a claim for reimbursement. Her entitled arrogance was her downfall. She thought she could handle the situation on her own, without legal representation. She didn't realize that the law doesn't look kindly on financial deceit in a domestic partnership. The court sided with me, ordering her to repay the misused funds. It wasn't a life-changing amount, but the principle mattered. The cherry on top? I learned from a friend that M had moved on from her entirely. After his divorce, he decided she wasn't worth the drama. She ended up alone, jobless. She quit her position thinking M would support her, and with a tarnished reputation. It's strange to look back now and think about how close I came to tying my life to someone so selfish and deceitful. In hindsight, there were red flags I ignored, little moments of entitlement, half-truths, and manipulative behavior. But I'm not beating myself up over it. If anything, I'm grateful. Grateful I found out before the wedding, before we bought a house, before kids entered the picture. She did me a favor by showing me her true colors when she did. Life is quieter now, but it's peaceful. I'm focusing on myself, my work, and my relationships with people who genuinely care about me. If you made it this far, thanks for reading. Let this be a reminder that sometimes walking away is the best thing you can do for yourself. Oh, and if you enjoyed the ride, hit subscribe. You never know when life will serve up another story worth sharing.